Welcome to podcast episode 49, How to Layer Without Looking Bulky. In the midst of winter, layers become an essential part of your wardrobe. Yet, it can be tricky to know how to pull together an outfit that doesn't leave you looking like the Michelin Man or feel like you've sacrificed style for comfort. Take heart. Layering does not have to be difficult, and it can be easier than you might think. With a little creativity and some insider's tips, you can do it without visually piling on the pounds. In this episode, you'll discover the secret to layering with confidence, what you must avoid when layering, how to create a foundation for your layers, why layers are a great choice for getting dressed, and how you can layer without visually packing on the pounds. Layers don't have to be tricky, but they do take a little thought. See what creative combinations you can come up with from your own closet. But first, are you ready to take your style to new heights? Join me for this powerful workshop to help you set your intention for your style and get clear on how you want to show up in 2022. Ditch the frump, say goodbye to the rut, and let's help you dress like you mean it. Join me in person at Style Finder Boutique on January 1st or virtually on January 2nd. And together we will craft your ideal style and create an easy strategy that makes getting dressed fun again. Plus, you'll save time, money, and frustration by planning out your look for the year and knowing exactly what you'll wear and how you'll wear it. In this workshop, you'll gain clarity on what image you want to present this year. You'll craft a strategy that supports you all year long. You'll awaken your desire to look and feel beautiful. You'll step into your best self. You'll discover how to take your style from good to great, and you'll uncover how easy looking chic can be, and so much more. Join me and other women in the Style Finder community to cultivate your ideal image and begin your journey to rediscovering your style. Click the link in the show notes, and if you sign up before December 25th, you get a free bonus workshop, Wear Color with Confidence. This workshop alone is a $497 value. So click the link, sign up in person or virtually, and I will look forward to helping you jumpstart your style. Welcome to Style by Mary Michelle, a podcast designed to empower you through personal style. I'm your host, Mary Michelle Nidifer, a master style coach, founder of Style Finder Boutique, and creator of the Style Finder ID system. I'm here to help you know what to wear, how to wear it, and how to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, friends, and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about how to layer without looking bulky. Because why? Well, we're in the midst of winter, and layers have become an essential part of our wardrobe. Knowing how to layer can be tricky, right? We don't want to look like the Michelin Man or feel like we're putting on 57 layers and have it visually add pounds. So I want to help you to know how to pull together an outfit that doesn't leave you feeling like you've sacrificed style for comfort or feeling like you've visually gained 30 pounds. Layering does not have to be difficult, and it can actually be easier than you might think. With a little creativity and some tips from a pro, you can do it without visually piling on the pounds or feeling like you're just wearing so much stuff. Now, I love layers. That is one thing that I absolutely love, and probably I would consider a hallmark of my style is layers. So, summer is great, but even in summer, I wear floaty layers. I love my floaty silks, but we're in the dead of winter right now. So layering is key, at least for us here in the States. Now, shout out to my friends in New Zealand, in Australia. I know you guys right now are in the throes of summer. But just know, some of these tips can work for you as well. And then in a few months, when you guys are having your cold season, check back on this podcast. So hopefully these will come in handy. All right. So layering, first of all, let me tell you why I like layering. I like layering because first of all, it can camouflage. If you've ever got a little extra anywhere, you get older, you get the little bra bulge, which I cannot stand. But for me, it just drives me crazy. But it's just a fact of life. And I think once you hit 40, it just kind of happens. And you kind of have some things that gravity helps to create that you just don't want to show. I don't want to show. So layering can really come in handy. I know a lot of my clients like to layer because they want that extra coverage, and that's fine. So that's one reason. But the biggest reason is, for me, it helps me to put things together that make a unique look. Anybody could wear a top, right? But it's when you layer, you put a scarf with it, you put a vest on, you wear a cardigan. That's really how you personalize your look. I am not going to wear the same top with the same vest, with the same jacket, with the same scarf as, someone else would. And I think that's really what I like, is it's the personal expression. Layering really helps you to take a basic piece and put your personal spin on it. So that's why I like layering. However, it's also functional. When it's cold outside, layers can be great. Because, sometimes, especially my life indoors, I think a lot of people feel this way in North Carolina, at least, or in the States. But our lives, it depends on where you live. But I go from my home to my car to my office, or from my car to Target or the grocery store or to a friend's house. I don't spend a lot of time outside. And if I do, then I dress a little bit differently. So I don't wear a lot of really bulky, heavy single pieces. Like, I don't have a lot of bulky, heavy sweaters because I don't need those inside. Now, if I'm going out to walk my dog, or if I'm going out to a bonfire or to an outdoor event when it's a little bit chilly, yes, I'm going to dress totally different. I'm going to have my hat on. I'm going to have my bulky sweater. I'm going to have my poncho, my gloves, you name it. I've got the layers piled up, but still I'm layering. Probably a little bit bulkier, but anyway, but I love layers. And I think layering can really be such an effective tool for when the temperatures dip, because it gives you versatility. It allows you to peel off those layers as the temperatures rise, or as maybe you're having a hot flash, or you just feel like, hey, it got a little warm in here. More people have arrived, and now I'm sweating. Let me take off that third layer. So it gives you options. So those are several reasons why I love layering. So let's talk about how to layer without looking bulky. Because if you don't do layering right, you can end up putting on pounds. You can end up feeling uncomfortable, feeling like you can't move, and that's no fun. So step number one, start with a good foundation. Now, when you start with a foundational layer, it gives you a sleek layer that is form-fitting. And what that can do is it can keep clothes from clinging to you without adding bulk. Another benefit is that this piece, it's almost like a second skin. It keeps you warm. And so if let's say you're traveling, you're going somewhere where it's going to be cold. You're going to Chicago, I wish I could go see my friend Elizabeth in Wisconsin. She's posting all these great pictures. It's snowy up there. I don't even know if we'll get snow here in North Carolina. Hopefully, my son loves it, but we'll see. But if doing that, you're going to want to start with, let's say we've got some tops in the boutique right now that are form-fitting. In fact, some with sleeves are called the second skin top, or we have our everyday classic tank. They're very form-fitting pieces. And those, to me, are such a great place to start. Because when you put that on, then you can layer anything over it, because it doesn't give you bulk. They're very fitted, so you don't have to worry about things shifting and not fitting well, and things will slide right over those. They're a really comfortable, stretchy nylon with some Lycra. They feel beautiful, and they'll give you just a little bit of warmth while you can layer over them easily. And if they show, if you wear a blouse over it and unbutton the blouse, you can have a little pop of color, or it just looks nice. Maybe you just have a simple white tank. So start with a good foundational layer. We have some great tanks in the store. A couple of the brands that we carry Elliotton, which is phenomenal. If you go to our website, it's called I think it's called the Everyday Classic Tank. It's reversible. So it's got a V-neck on one side. It's got a scoop neck on the other side. And it comes in so many colors. You could find a color close to your skin tone. You can wear white, you can wear black, you can wear peacock, you can do mauve. We've got so many different shades. So think about, what color you want. We have so many clients who just have a whole wardrobe of those because they are good base layers. And so start with a good foundation. Ideally, now let me throw this out. I know years ago, those cotton camis were really popular. And I'm not a real big fan of those because fabrics tend to grab. When you have cotton, now I love cotton. And a lot of people want cotton against their skin. So if you do want cotton against your skin, try to find some cotton with Lycra built in, because that allows it to be a little bit more sleek and be a little bit more form-fitting. But if it's just 100% cotton, a lot of times pieces you put on top of it will grab and they won't glide. You want something that's going to glide over the layers. And so the cotton sometimes will grab onto it and it will not be, it just creates bulk, I think. So start with a good foundation. Number 2, you need structure. On top of your tank or your second skin top, you want to add a fitted top that has a little bit of structure. Now, let me talk about structure for a minute. Structure can come in a couple of different forms. One, structure can come in the cut of a garment. Maybe your garment is cut with some shaping. Maybe it's got darts. Or maybe it's in a fabric that has structure, substance. It's not in a real flimsy fabric. And so you do need a little bit of structure. So this is going to be really key. So something that's a little bit more fitted and the fabric has a little bit more substance. So the key is to start with something that is structured rather than something that is flimsy and something that is boxy. Because flimsy and boxy can be really tricky when it comes to continuing the layers. Now, if it's summertime and you want to start with a great Eliaton tank and then throw on a flimsy, lightweight blouse, it's just a looser look and you're stopping there, you can totally rock that. Maybe you throw a belt on with it, whatever. Maybe that's going to work for you. But when it's cold and you want to continue the layers, flimsy is going to be really difficult to work with. So stay away from flimsy, stay away from boxy, because as you get boxy, in fact, I had a client come in recently and she was looking at one of our boxy ponchos. Super cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's called the Burbridge poncho. And it is so cute. This beautiful fringed plaid turtleneck poncho. I love this piece. It would be great to wear over a turtleneck. It's such a great piece. However, you can't wear a coat over it because it's a big boxy piece and under the arms, you can't put a fitted coat over it. So structure is key. It needs to have set-in sleeves so that you can put something over it. If you start with something that's loose and flowy and boxy, you can only wear loose and flowy and boxy over it, which is a lot of loose and flowy and boxy, and that's going to visually add pounds and bulk. Now, that might be the look you're going for. That's great. But I'm talking about how to layer while keeping the bulk at bay. So as you build your layers, the more fitted the layers are, the less bulky you are, and the more you'll maintain your shape. And when I say fitted, let me just clarify. I do not mean tight. I mean fitted as in it gently skims the body. It skims your body. It shows your shape. It still allows for movement. Hopefully it's got some stretch to it. In fact, so many blouses and tops have that built-in stretch. All right, tip number 3. 3 is the magic number. So what I like to do is I like to layer 2 structured shirts. So you've got your foundation and then you've got your structured shirt. So I'm counting those 2 as structured shirts. And then add a sweater for a warm look, for an interesting look, and just to look put together. Anybody can pop a sweater on top of a blouse, but it does take a little thought to put a couple of blouses together or to put different tops together, you've got to have the right blouse with the right sweater. So number three is the magic number. Start with your foundation, start with your structured blouse. Now, I will say you could do 2 structured blouses, and I'll give you an example of this. So you start with your Ellioton tank. Let's say you want to go for a plaid blouse. You have a beautiful, or a striped blouse, and it's got some fit to it. It's got some darts. So you want to wear that over your tank. And then you want to layer with maybe a denim shirt. Denim shirts, sometimes they get a little boxy and flowy, but if it's a little on the boxy side and that's your third layer, it's okay. You just don't want your inner layers to be boxy, because as you layer on top, they'll create bulk. So you do your tank, do your plaid shirt, do your denim shirt, because that's got some structure to it. And then make sure you flip the collars out. You want to pop the collars together. You don't want to just throw it on over top of it. You want to do your sleeves. You want to make sure that you pull out the sleeves of the bottom layer and that you can see those and that they work with the sleeves on the top layer. You don't want it just to be an afterthought. This is not just, hey, let me pull on some things and go. This is, no, let me place it. Let me roll my cuffs up together. Let me pop the collar out from underneath. Let me pop my 2 collars together. That's what I would do. I have to pop the collar. That's just my thing. But whether you do or not, make sure you address the collars. What are you going to do? Do you want it tucked in? Do you want one in, one out? However you want to do it. If you want the under collar over the outer collar, you could do that. But just make sure that you style it. Don't just let it be random. So, all right, so your plaid shirt is underneath your denim shirt. And then you could still throw a sweater on top of that, or a cardigan, or a jacket. So you're building, and each layer is not real bulky. So your sweater, maybe it's a really thin cashmere sweater, and it's just a beautiful piece to layer on top of these blouses and your tank, or your one blouse and tank. You can do that, and it's still not real bulky. And if it's cashmere or lamb's wool or some other really thin sweater, you will still have the warmth. And then you've got options. Let's say you start to get warm. Well, take your sweater off. Then you've got on this great blouse. Well, or maybe you take the blouse off and put the sweater back on over the tank. You have options. Number 4, get waisted. No, don't misinterpret that. I like a good cardigan or jacket that has some structure, because it shows your shape. It shows your waist. Now, I will say this though. This is not for everybody. Not everybody is going to want to show their waist. So when I say get waisted, it's WAISTED, not the other one. We're not going there today. So now let me talk body type for a second. If you're an apple and you know who you are, you carry your fullness in the tummy and the bust. Your waist is not the most defined part of you. And so therefore, you don't necessarily want waistline definition. But if you're an hourglass, if you are a pear, you do want to define your waist. And so one thing you can think about is to rein in the fullness. If you have curves and you have a smaller waist, think about reining in the fullness and wearing maybe a cardigan or a longer sweater or something that has a tie at the waist, or something that can have a belt. Because when you add that waistline definition, it visually will take off pounds. Maybe it's a cardigan with a really thin belt that you just tie. Or maybe it's a wrap coat, or maybe it's just you're putting a belt on top of something. Or I've seen a lot of people do, especially on TikTok. Let me just say this. If you're not on TikTok, I highly recommend it. It's been so much fun. I'm on there. And if you're on there, go look me up. Style by Mary Michelle. I've got some fun videos. You know what? You can't take yourself too seriously on TikTok, but I am all about educating. So I have some great tips on there. I love to show things from our boutique, or just, provide words of inspiration, a little bit of outfit inspo. styling advice. I just have fun with it. So go follow me at Style by Mary Michelle. And you know what? You just can't take it too seriously, but be careful because you could easily get sucked down the rabbit hole. But there's a lot of stuff out there that's not great, but I've found some really great tips on there, like how to wrap Christmas presents or make great recipes or decorating hacks or DIY hacks, financial things, Airbnb, just like anything you want, you can find a genre out there. So, but what I've seen a lot of women do on TikTok is taking, say, a sweater vest, which is, you know what, vests are so hot this season. That would be a great layer, a great third layer or fourth layer. Wear a great sweater vest and then fold it up under. Well, I know I'm on video, but I don't really have anything to demonstrate. So I'm going to have to do a TikTok to show you guys this trick. But I've seen a lot of people fold the front hem of the sweater vest under and tuck it up so that it looks like a cropped sweater vest and it looks super cute. Now that doesn't necessarily give you waistline definition, but it does take out some of the bulk. So think about something that's got a belt or a self tie that can bring it in and create some waistline emphasis. Now, as I mentioned, if you're an apple or if you're a rectangle, you are not going to want that waistline emphasis. So just skip that step altogether and just opt for something that's fitted. So number 5, a top coat. With added layers, you may want to opt for one of the season's best coats. Now, we're seeing a lot of oversized coats this season. I talked about coats last week. I talked about how to get a really well-fitting coat or the right coat, basically. And go listen to that podcast. But one of the trends that we've seen a lot of this season are oversized coats. I have mixed feelings about them, but if you are layering a lot of pieces, you might want to go for an oversized coat because it's going to give you room for all the layers. Or you could do a cape. If you have multiple layers, you can always do a cape or a poncho or something that gives you room for layers. But I will tell you, if done correctly, I shouldn't say correctly, if layered in a way that really does not create bulk, so you're using the thinnest possible fabrics, then you could easily just put on a typical blazer or trench coat or cardigan that has a sleek cut to it, and it's not going to be too bulky. So just make sure if you do want to maintain the shape, though, you have some shaping that you don't totally lose it. Now, if you do wear an oversized coat and go for that look, that's fine. But if you really do want to pare down and you don't want to look bulky, keep your fabrics thin. Go for really, really good fabrics, silks and wools and cottons. And I love blends. I love blends because when you throw in some Lycra, you got the stretch, right? And when you have stretch, you get a better fit. That's going to be key. With every layer, make sure you have some stretch because it can fit closer to the body because you've got the built-in movement. If you don't have stretch, you need to go bigger. You need it to be a little bit bigger because you don't have room to move. And so by the time you get to 3 or 4 layers, if you're layering on a coat, you're going to need it to be bigger if you don't have the stretch. If you have stretch, go for sleek. Go for something that has the shaping, and that will definitely eliminate the bulk. So, ladies, I hope this has been helpful for you. Layers don't have to be tricky, but I want you to think about each layer. Try it on. It's like building a look with your layers. And the possibilities are endless. But I really invite you to get into your closet and just play. This is one of those things that you really just kind of have to play to see, well, what's going to be my inner layer and what's going to be my outer layer? And what coat or what blazer is going to work with this? This is where you get to create your own look. You could do a monochromatic look. You could do a color block look. You could just have so much fun with this. And as I mentioned, this is really where you get to put your own personal stamp on your style. So make sure all the layers are working for your body type and for your style. You definitely want to wear pieces that you love, that fit you, that flatter you, that make you feel fabulous. So let's go through this again. Number 1, start with a good foundation. Number 2, structure is key. Number 3, layering. In layering, 3 is the magic number. Number 4, get waisted if waistline definition works for your body type. Number 5, top coat. Add a top coat just to bring it all together. And sometimes it's the top coat that adds the polish. Even if you're just doing a simple layered look with jeans and sneakers, add in that beautiful coat. Especially a longer coat, it just adds elegance. Add a great crossbody bag. You are good to go. You're going to be on the streets of New York or Paris or Chicago, and you're going to look like $1,000,000, and you're going to be warm. This is what you want to do if you're going to spend some time outside and you don't want to wear just the big, bulky sweater, the big, bulky coat. Now, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But if you want to be able to layer without looking super bulky and have all those different options to remove pieces of clothing throughout the day, this is how you do it. This is how we do it. Now, I don't normally sing. I shouldn't even try that. So, all right, ladies, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know how your layering is gone, where you wear your layers, and I would love for you to go leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. That would be wonderful. I read every single review, and it just warms my heart to hear your kind words, to hear you guys letting me know what you got from this podcast, or which one you loved the most, what advice helped you, who you loved listening to of all my fabulous guests. Let me know, because, that helps me to know what to do more of. So have a beautiful day, ladies. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Style by Mary Michelle, where women come to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. If you enjoyed this podcast, I invite you to leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you're listening. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Style by Mary Michelle, and shop our boutique at shopstylefinder.com for the best in upscale casual apparel. Better yet, if you're in the Raleigh area, come see us. We're located in the North Hills Shopping Center, the premier shopping district in Midtown Raleigh. For details and links mentioned in this episode, be sure to see the show notes. Have a beautiful week.